Yo, 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 what in the hell is up? College football has been going on. We're a little bit past halfway through the season. So I thought it'd be a good time to check in on the top 25 AP poll from the preseason, see how those teams are doing, and we will rank them whether they're about as good as expected, a little bit better, a little bit worse, or way better or way worse. So let's get into it. Starting with preseason number one. This is all AP poll, by the way. Starting with preseason number one, we got Alabama. They are currently ranked 6th now from number one. They've honestly looked pretty good at times, and they've also looked bad and undisciplined at times. So I think they are trending a little bit downwards. Ohio State, they were preseason number 2. They are currently number 2. I mean, that's just as good as expected, you know. Georgia was preseason number 3. They're currently the number 1 team, 7-0. But going from 3 to 1, they're about as good as expected, honestly, as far as rankings go. Clemson, same story. They were started off as number 4. Now they're number 5. Where in the hell? There they are. They're about as good as expected. So here is the first real wrench in the system right here. Notre Dame was preseason number 5. Seems like forever ago they were number 5. But at this point in the season, they're 4-3. They have losses to Ohio State, Marshall, and Stanford. Jesus Christ. Currently unranked. Notre Dame has fallen off a cliff. And then number 6, not much better, is Texas A&M at 3-4. They have a losing record. They've lost to App State, Mississippi State, Alabama, and South Carolina. So, Texas A&M, wherever you may be. Bro, am I blind? Okay, fell off a cliff. No doubt about it. Utah was number 7 in the preseason poll. They're sitting at 5-2. They lost to Florida week 1. And who else they lose to? UCLA. So 2 losses. A lot of people's pick to win the Pac-12 and maybe even contend for a playoff spot. They're currently ranked 14, so they went from 7 to 14 with 2 losses. I think they're trending downward. They didn't necessarily fall off a cliff, but a little bit worse than expected. Michigan started off preseason number 8. They are currently number 4 at 7-0. Michigan is trending upwards. And then at number 9 in the preseason poll, we had Oklahoma. 4-3 losses to Kent State, TCU, and Texas beat them by 1 million. So Oklahoma, you have fallen off a cliff. Congratulations. Baylor, same thing. Preseason number 10, currently unranked, just like Oklahoma. They're 4-3 as well with losses to BYU, Oklahoma State, and West Virginia somehow. Baylor, you have fallen off a cliff. Number 11 in the preseason poll was Oregon. They're currently ranked number 8. Besides their week 1 loss to Georgia, as bad as that may have been, Oregon has been on a tear since then. Haven't lost a game. Absolutely blowing everybody out. They're at number 8 now. Oregon, since week 1, is trending upwards. At number 12 in the preseason poll, we had Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has the 1 loss this year to TCU, the last remaining undefeated team in the Big 12. So no real shame in that. They currently sit at number 9, and they are trending upwards at the moment. Preseason number 13, NC State. They're currently ranked number 24. They're 5-2 with losses to Clemson and Syracuse. Probably 2 of the best teams in the ACC, but still 2 losses. You're trending downward. Not necessarily falling off a cliff yet, but moving in the wrong direction. Preseason number 14, USC, is now currently ranked number 10. They're 6-1 with a loss to Utah. USC, since the preseason, is trending upwards. Preseason number 15, Michigan State, currently with a losing record, 3-4. Losses to Washington, Minnesota, Maryland, and who? Ohio State. That's who that says. Couldn't even read my own handwriting there for a second. So Michigan State has clearly fallen off a cliff. They're unranked. They have a losing record. Not an ideal season. Number 17 in the preseason poll is Pitt. They are currently 4-3 with losses to Tennessee, Louisville, and the most embarrassing loss of the season, Georgia Tech. So Pitt is currently unranked, and they have fallen off a cliff. Number 18, joining them in the fell off a cliff category, is Wisconsin. Wisconsin is even. They're at 4-4. They lost to Washington State, Ohio State, Illinois, and Michigan State. So Wisconsin, not looking good. Number 19 in the preseason poll is Arkansas, who's currently 4-3. They lost to Texas A&M, Alabama, and Michigan State. They should have won some of those games. They're currently unranked. Unfortunately, Arkansas has fallen off a cliff. Kentucky was ranked number 20 in the preseason poll. They are now currently 19 at 5-2. They've lost to Ole Miss and they lost to South Carolina. So they went from 20 to 19. I'd say they're about as good as expected. And then we have Ole Miss coming in at 21 in the preseason. They're now at 15 with one loss, and that was to LSU, and they just lost. So they went from number 21 up to 15. I would say, even though they just lost to LSU, they are trending upwards. Number 22 in the preseason was Wake Forest. They are now currently sitting at 11. So from 22 to 11, they have one loss, and that's to Clemson in like 3 overtimes, I think it was. I think Wake Forest is way better than expected compared to their preseason poll. Number 23 in the preseason was Cincinnati, and they are currently sitting at number 20. They have one loss. They're 6-1. Their one loss was to Arkansas. So going from 23 to 20 at this point in the season, I think is about as good as expected. And then number 24 was Houston, who is 4-3 and have lost to Texas Tech, Kansas, and Tulane. So Houston, I'm sorry, but you have fallen off a cliff. You are currently unranked. And number 25 in the preseason poll, everyone's favorite team, BYU, currently even at 4-4. They've lost to Oregon, Notre Dame, Arkansas, and Liberty. Don't know where that one came from. BYU has fallen off a cliff. So that is how the preseason poll shakes out. A lot of teams have dropped out that had high hopes. Notre Dame, A&M, Oklahoma, even Baylor were playoff hopefuls. Not anymore. Trending downwards, these all still have shots, maybe. Bama does. I don't know about Utah or NC State. They have 2 losses both, so they're out. Yeah, these 5 teams are about as good as expected. Where they were ranked in preseason is about where they are now. And these teams are a little bit better as far as ranking goes, and Wake Forest way better than expected. A few teams that weren't ranked in the preseason that I want to throw in here now. Tennessee, number 3 team in the nation, way better than expected. Wasn't even ranked in the preseason. Who else? TCU, way better than expected. They're now number 7, unranked before the season. Who else? UCLA, way better than expected. Number 12 now. Penn State, way better than expected. They're number 13. Who else? Oh, this team right here, Syracuse. Come on now. They're playing some ball out there. Look at this. Illinois, way better than expected. I guess LSU has to fall into that category too. They're number 18. They were unranked. I would say North Carolina is trending upwards. They were unranked, but now they're sitting at number 21. Same can be said for Kansas State at 22. I'll give Tulane way better than expected. They're sitting at 23 in the AP poll. I mean, come on. And then look at this team. South Carolina, let's put them at way better expected. Why not? They were unranked. They've now cracked the top 25 at 25. So, yeah, I mean, that's how the teams have looked so far in the season. I mean, it's we're going into week 9. A lot of things can change. A lot of things will change. So, we'll see how it plays out.